Hi everyone, how are you? I hope you are listening to me. Most of all, I hope you are hearing me. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. First of all, I will tell you that I am in a very different situation for a reason which is very from the third dimension. The reason why the environment is different is because I love to go to the cinema, and it's been many months without going to cinema, and just discovered that there is a cinema close by, but we didn't made the right timing. So the movie has just ended, so we wouldn't be able to arrive to the hotel. So that's why I'm here in in the cinema, and we came to see the movie Soul, uh, which is very beautiful. So I really recommend this movie because really it's incredible. So today the topic is Asia, the continent Asia. So to go to the point, the the Asia continent is related to the solar plexus of the planet. So we are going to talk about the main territory of Asia. We're not going to talk about the secondary territories of Asia, like Middle East. Middle East was also called Asia Minor, or Asia Minor, but it's not part of the continent because that territory once was a group of islands that got all united when the pressure of Africa and Asia got together. Okay, so that's how they connected and created the mountains and these regions of Middle East. So the continent of Asia is one of the biggest one, but also has two other territories within Asia that they seems to be Asia, but they are not. And those are one in the north, which is the north of Siberia, which is connected to North America, is a different plateau connected to North America. And the other one is India. India, we all think that is connected to Asia, that is part of Asia, but geologically is connected to Australia. So when Australia started to move towards the north, India started to also to move faster to the north and got inside the continent of Asia. So this pressure that India created started to rise up the land, creating the Himalayas, and of course the of course the Tibet. So also the limit of Asia with Europe, sometimes we don't see it, we cannot appreciate it, but we can see the limit in the Ural Mountains. And they start in Nova Zemlya, which is an island in the Arctic, and from there it goes down in the Ural Mountains towards until the Caspian Sea. So in the south, the continent of Asia arrives until all the islands of Indonesia, but not the Papua island, because Papua is connected to Oceania. So I invite you to see some map if you can, so you can get to know the solar plexus of the body. So you can relate with that part of the body that we all are. So that would be the whole Asia. So when you see the maps, you can perceive it, and you can just get to know a little bit better your plexus. The continent of Asia is basically the one that molded the humanity, because from 300,000 years ago, till a million years ago, the changes of Asia were basically shaping the way in which we survived in the world, like the explosion of the Toba volcano in Sumatra Island changed the whole weather, changed the environment in Siberia. So what happened to humans in that continent basically shaped the idea of who we are as Homo sapiens. So this is why this continent was was the one that said to the humans, "Hey, you are this. You are humans." And so in Asia was the first continent in which we could say, I am human. So remember that Homo sapiens means the human that thinks, okay? So human that thinks. And due to the process that we lived in Asia, we began to be Homo sapiens sapiens. Homo sapiens sapiens would be the human that really is thinking, okay, a lot. So this means the humanity that started to be the one able to create cultures, the one able to create civilizations, and so on. Also, important to know that we all have a common ancestor regarding our philosophy, our way of talking, our traditions, cultures. We all come from the people that we call the Indo-European, and those people were living around the Caspian Sea in the lands of the Great Stan, mainly in the Kazakhstan regions and the southern Russia, and they spread towards the India and also to Europe, to the plains of Hungary. So all this territory was the region of the people called the Indo-Europeans, because they connected from India to Europe. These people basically were the basement, the seed of all our traditions, of all the thoughts of Asia and Europe. So all the ways of thinking, the philosophies, the traditions that we have sharing in the biggest part of humanity comes from those people, from the Indo-European people. Okay. So this is why the great territory of Stan, where the Indo-European people used to live, is very very important, because Stan means the land of. Okay, so we call the Great Stan all the territories of the countries that end in Stan, like Pakistan, Afghanistan, Turkmenistan, Tajikistan, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, all these countries. So all these countries are the Great Stan, and this territory plus the Sinus territories, which is the China, Mongolia, Siberia, all these territories are the ones that molded the way of thinking of the whole world. And now we are going to see why. At the first thing is because the people from the Great Stan, so the Indo-European people, they started to expand towards the west. So all these people were populating the regions of Europe, Mediterranean Sea, and of course the Middle East. So from Middle East, then they started to conquer the northern Africa. So from the half of Africa to the west north, all the traditions came from the Middle East that came from the Great Stan. And in the other hand, we have these other populations from the Indo region, which is the India, the rivers from India, Tibet, Taklamakan Desert, all this territory, and from there they started to go to the east. All of them went to the east. So they populated the south of Asia, all these countries from the south of Asia, and then they went up towards Mongolia, China, Siberia, and towards the south through Indonesia, populating Australia and the Pacific, and the Pacific Ocean. So they spread towards the east, the opposite of the Stan people. So you will see that the people from the north of Asia, they start to migrate towards Alaska and North America. They spread all through North America, and from the south they start to go to, from the Pacific Ocean they go to Chile, and from there they start to populate South America, and they get together in Central America. So as you see, all the cultures from the Americas, they basically were born in the center of Asia. Even if humans were born in Africa, from Africa they started to go up towards Middle East, and from there they went to Asia. So from Asia they started to expand towards all the world. So that's why the idea of the cultural being the civilization saying, this is me, I am, all this basis of every culture around the world was born in the center of Asia. The center of all this power of acknowledging yourself is the center of Asia, which is Tibet. And it's not because of the Tibetan culture, it's because of the geography, okay? It's the geography of Tibet that gives that power. So the reason why the Tibet is so important is because of its geography. Thousands and millions of years ago, Tibet was the region of a great sea that we call the Tethys. Tethys was a big sea in between Oceania and Asia. And when the India went to this region, it started to bring that ocean, that sea, towards the sky. So all the inner lands, the information from the oceans went up towards the highest spot of the planet. So the inner part of the planet was connected to the highest point in the sky. So this means that the highest peaks of the world, they are the youngest peak of the youngest mountains of the world, and they have the information from the deepest part of the oceans. So this territory, the Tibet, is the one that holds the information of the skies, the earth, and the seas. So it got stuck in the center. All this information got stuck in the center of Asia. So that's why all the people that used to go there, they found the information of the whole planet. So they understood how to become their own planet, how to become their own self. Okay. So this is why in this territory of Asia is where the I am was built, is where the cultures related to the I am were born. And that's why the Eastern cultures are the one that helps us to understand all the different concepts of the I am. So of course, some of you may say, why only Asia? Because in America, the shamanism has all this information too. Well, because shamanism, it wasn't born in America. Shamanism was born in Mongolia. Shamanism was born in the Gobi Desert and the territories of Siberia in the Baikal Lake. So in all that territory, the women were the first ones on becoming shamans, connecting to the earth, and then they taught to men how to use it. So shamans were started in Northern Asia. So as you see, all the cultures are connected in the center of are connected as a cultural beings in philosophy related to the I am, and this is basically because all the cultures were born in the center of Asia, where the I am was created. So when we are speaking about the I am and picturing the whole world, we have to think that this center of the I am is connected to the plexus, in the center of the self, which is in Asia. So the center, which is the Tibet. One of the things that I wrote today in the blog is the relationship that we have today with the I am is reflected by the actions of the countries in those territories. They are not working exactly with the I am. They are just fighting against each other, trying to control one another. So, for example, the plexus, which is Tibet, is under the power of China, which is the stomach. So we are the I am is basically under the pressure of the processor of the world. Yes, so that's why we have these conflicts in ourselves as humanity related to the I am. So this takes us to the fractal of this. So how do you relate yourself with the I am? Are you free to express who you are, or are you just living through the perceptions of others? You just do whatever the other ones are trying to tell you to do, or you really are afraid of being who you really are. Just try to think about that, and you will acknowledge how humanity, all us together, are living this reality. Just to think about this this relationship. There are so many things to talk about this, but remember, I wrote a little bit more, I guess, in the blog of today, in the post of today in the blog. Remember, the blog is yosoy.red. Okay, I am in Spanish, and red, which is not the color, it means I am in the phone, so I cannot read anything from the phone. So I'm going to use Judith's phone. The vibration for today is fear. The statement for today is, I am the ethereal being. The code for today is the subconscious. It says, there, where all options combine, lies the first of the great consciousness, the one that is deprived of all purposes, patterns, objectives, logics, directions, space or time. We could say that the subconscious is the ocean where we all swim, from where we've never left, something that contains us all, unites us, records and moves us all. And what happens in it happens to us all, to all of us. So as you see, the subconscious, the information of today, is kind of like saying we have all Asia within, because we all come from there. So we sit comfortable to sit for a moment and align with the continent of Asia. We sit comfortable, put comfortable our bodies. I remember that I am in this big, great sphere of celestial color, light blue and white light. I find myself seated on my heart in Europe. I remember that my body is the extension of the animal kingdom. And through my process, I help all them to enlighten too. I bring the entire animal kingdom to my heart, and from this heart, I jump into the next level that makes me to go from the state of animal towards human, the state of the I am. And this is how I look into the horizon, the celestial light blue sky, where the mountains of the Ural and the Caspian Sea start to be shining by the sun rising in the east. I take a deep breath. I see, as I approach, the great plains of the great sun and the forest, the cold forest of Siberia, ending in the mountains of the Altai, the chain that protect and hold the Taklamakan Desert. I see in the horizon, rising up, the highest mountains of the Karakorum in the region of Kashmir, going down to the mountains of Pakistan, and I expand through the eternal and thousands of colors of India. I feel the great forests and rainforests of Indonesia, Myanmar, Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos, the islands of Sri Lanka and Bangladesh, and from the shores of India, I go to the mountains, watching how they arise, the Himalayas, from the green fields and mountains to the highest peaks of white celestial in the sky. As I go to the east, I feel the great China, its wisdom, touching the seas of the sun, observing the dragons of Japan, Korea, Taiwan, and Philippines. And I go deep to the center of the continent, to the great desert of Gobi, Mongolia, reaching the deepest lake of the world in Siberia, the bridge, the Rainbow Bridge from where every shaman has come to earth, Lake Baikal. And from there, I find again the center, the core of the greatest continent of all, the one that connects us all, the roof of the planet, Tibet. And there, in the center of all things, in the void, I find enlightenment, and I remember, I am. I am the ethereal being. I am the ethereal being. I am the ethereal being. I live within each one of the living beings of planet Earth, for all of them are one in me, whole. I am. 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 Take a deep breath, and I recognize the entire continent of Asia in my plexus. And I begin to bring this consciousness all around my body, coming back here and now. Thank you, everybody, for being there. Thank you for being I am. See you tomorrow, as always, at the same time.